Welcome back to Roaming with Restless Women. Today I have Dr. Randi Shannon. Randi is a naturopathic doctor, a face, tongue, and fingernail analysis expert, and founder of thebodycan.com. She has worked with more than 10,000 clients over more than a decade, helping people read what their body has always been trying to say. This is a huge topic for now. Most people are looking at more Eastern medicine. They're looking at more naturopathic, more healthy, natural ways of healing their body. So I'm really excited to have you. Thank you, Randi, for joining us this morning.
So happy to be here. I'm excited. It's a different kind of platform for me to speak on. So I love being able to reach into other audiences where they may have never heard of such a thing. So
Right.
I'm so happy to be on here. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for applying to be on here. Okay, so let's start off by how did you get into becoming more of a naturopathic type doctor? Tell me about that.
Well, as a mother of four sons, when I, yeah,
Yeah.
when I got pregnant with my first one, I was 20 and had him at 21. And funny thing is, he lives about 1 mile from me. We may have parted in life different times, but he's come very close back to mom again, which is great.
Oh,
Married now and has a couple of kids. My first two grandchildren, as a matter of fact, were through him. So, and they're beautiful little guys. But I knew from the minute that I got pregnant that I needed to be, and I knew nothing. I'm 58 now, so we didn't have the internet like we
right.
do today. And so it's just in you to know that you've got to do healthy things. And
Yes.
yes, and back when I was 18, 19 or so, and I was in college, I had worked as a CNA, a certified nursing assistant. So
Mhm.
I had a little bit into that medical world, and I'm not knocking nurses at all, but my experience back then was watching them it was a nursing home, so I would watch them push the cart up and down, and
Mhm.
everybody had like a little container that they could fit the pills in, and they would stop outside every room and have their doses ready. They would pop it with just water. There was no food or anything, which is also not, that's very hard on the stomach. I didn't know
Yeah.
time, but I would watch that and I thought, gosh, that's not really, anything I want to be a part of. And so I would take so much time with those patients. And I had to do kind of what we would call the dirty work. I had to clean the bedding and make sure that they got to their baths and brush their teeth. And sometimes it was dentures and, comb their hair so that they could feel human.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah.
makes a huge difference.
So that was the part that I loved, that I could be a little bit more hands-on. So I knew that I had a love in that field. Then, I get pregnant and have my first son, and I stopped like everything. At that time, believe it or not, coffee is like in everybody's world, it seems like today, because, there's a Starbucks on every corner. But back when I was a little kid, my grandfather would go into the diners and I loved going in with him. So I saw the coffee, but even as a 20-year-old, that was never in my world. Like, I don't think I had my first cup of
Mm.
coffee until I was like 26. So,
Wow.
yeah. And so I didn't have to stop things like that. I wasn't doing that, but I was very concerned about food in cans and having more of like singular food. So I think that's just in us to know
Hmm.
that we need to eat clean. So that was the part of it. But, I was married. I had two sons with my first husband. He passed away. Years later, I married and had two more sons with that husband. We're divorced. We didn't make it, but we are still friends. But years ago, I had a piece of land and I was going to sell it. And because I was not going to go visit there, none of my sons wanted to be there. It was in the Midwest. And so I was like, all right, I'll sell this. And I'm either going to go to law school to be a fighter for the little guy. I thought I would be a great litigator. Or I can go into the health field, but I like the natural more than I do the medical doctor
Hmm.
and so I looked around and I was working with a doctor. He's a former doctor. He's famous, Dr. Joel Wallach. You're old enough to remember. I'm old enough to remember. It was in the 70s. Anybody who's 54 and below typically does not remember this. Do you remember Marlon Perkins with Wild Kingdom?
Oh yeah. Sunday night.
And it was like the first Animal Planet, right? And we were
Yes.
all glued to our TVs. I can like still vividly hear his voice.
Yes, me too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Marlon has passed on. However, the doctor of veterinary medicine that worked with him behind the scenes that we never saw, or maybe we had glimpses over the years, but that was Dr. Joel Wallach. And I had the absolute privilege. He became a naturopathic physician, and I had the privilege of working with him for the last 20 years.
Wow.
Right. And so he actually cured everything in the animals because in the animal world, you can't do to them like you do to people. Take this drug for the next 40 years. Okay.
Right. Right.
If a cow is sick, it's got to be fixed right now. And the way they did it was with nutrients.
Yeah.
It wasn't lifestyle changes, stop eating the oils, Mr. Cow, or anything like that. Like or it wasn't take this metformin for the next 40 years because you're a diabetic. No, they had to fix these issues. And so then he took those remedies to the people. And then for the last really hardcore 10 years, he just retired at age 85 last year, which breaks my heart that I don't get to work with him every single day. Like it gets me emotional thinking about it because
Oh.
I did the last interview he ever has done. I was the one who had
Oh.
to do that last interview. So it was a real gift of my life. And he basically taught me all the cures that were in the animals that were then brought to the people. So while I can
Nice.
never
Yeah.
claim a cure, and I don't, I always say that the brain is brilliant, that the body is brilliant, and that it recognizes when we give the body what it's supposed to have, and then it goes to work and it cures the body. It does it, not me. So I just have the knowledge of what
Yeah.
it needs.
And the nice thing is, when you put together your website, you called it Your Body Can.
The body can. Yeah.
The Body Can.
Hmm.
So that's basically a testament to what you're talking about. Your body knows. Your body
Yeah.
knows how to heal itself. It was made that way. It's
Yep.
just we don't know anymore what to give it.
Which is
So
amazing because we do have the internet, so we have way more knowledge than when I was 20,
yeah.
which is to our benefit. But you know what? There's still that crowd that doesn't like to go to the internet. And, the road I actually went down is I got into Eastern medicine, which is what I always state 5,000-year-old original medicine.
Yes. Yes.
It was there, and then the Rockefellers pushed it out, and the Carnegies pushed it out in the early 1900s in America because all the hospitals and clinics that existed were naturopathic. And people today have no idea, and they think that the white coats, this is just a blazer, this is not me being a medical doctor, but they think that the white coats, the medical doctors, and some of them are some of my best friends in life, like I have nothing against them, but it's hard to get them to go do research, and it's hard to
Yeah.
get them to wake up and take that veil off their eyes to realize this is where medicine came from. Tylenol
Right.
wasn't Tylenol, a synthetic. Tylenol was white willow bark, a natural painkiller.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
There's
and
so much coming back around. I know that just even in my Instagram feed, there
mhm,
are lots and lots of um, elders, if you will, coming
yes,
on and saying use a pineapple with cinnamon and blend it up and saying this will restore your energy. This will reset your diabetes or whatever. And
yeah,
so there's a lot of that kind of stuff out there right now. Myself go to a naturopathic physician, so they were the only ones that were able to help me get myself regulated through menopause. The
it's
MDs didn't want to do anything for me.
except synthetics,
Yeah.
bioidenticals. Well, get on this I mean, take it apart. Bio identical. Okay, so it's synthetic. That's what that,
Right.
it's fake. And you know, when somebody has, let's say, a transplant and they get somebody else's organ, say a kidney, you know, we'll use that as an example. They have to forever be on a drug that is basically, when you dumb it all down, blinding the brain into not seeing that that's not their kidney, because the minute it would see that, it would reject it and basically kill it off.
Right.
Okay. So a bioidentical is very similar. It's blinding the brain into thinking, hey, you got hormones now. But what does the body do? It's like putting it on the welfare system. And what happens when people go on the welfare system? They don't want to work, they lose their ambition, and that happens with our body. So the doctors, if they would just give the raw material that happens in nature to the women, literally menopause, they've made it into a disease, and it's
Yeah.
literally a nothing burger. I'm 58, went through it. It was a nothing burger. I felt nothing
Oh,
because
it must be nice.
it's
I felt
all
it
just,
all.
yeah, it's just having the right raw material. And when you have it, you don't have hot flashes, you don't have, you know,
Mm,
all this weirdness, loss of sleep, anxieties, in some cases, depression. You don't have any of that because you're getting the raw material every day, and the brain is like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to go to work. And it's not actually a disease. It's not actually an ailment that should get anybody down. So this whole bioidentical, which is a multi-trillion-dollar industry, which is not meant to fix the problem, it's not meant to prevent or cure it. It's only meant to band-aid it.
yeah.
The women everywhere, which is half the population, are going through that, and that industry is making a straight up fortune.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So
So
you decided to write a book.
I did, yeah.
So tell me about your book. We talked a little bit before the interview, and it is in process right now. So tell me about the book, what it offers, and when we can expect to see it.
Well, this is amazing because initially I was going to just keep it all to myself. Okay. Like write a book that just had case studies
Hmm.
and everyone come to me. But I'm one person. I'm 58 years old. I'm not going to live forever. Okay. I plan on living a long time. I'm very healthy. Nothing wrong with me whatsoever. I'm on no
That's
prescription.
good.
Um, but I thought, you know, if I go, it all goes. So I need to make this an actual tell-all book. And for it to be that tell-all book, to get it around the world, it needs to fall into that category of New York Times bestseller, because that's what gets all the media and publicity. That'll put me out on the bigger shows, you know, where it's like mainstream. You know, I'm just going to put it out there. Tucker, Joe Rogan, Megyn Kelly, those types of shows, the morning shows that everybody is on. That's where the word like really will go literally around the world in seconds. And so that book, it was completed a year ago. And over the last year, then I made it the tell-all book and went back to every single chapter. We were initially at like 18 chapters, and now it's at 21 chapters. And it is mind-blowing because some of the stories that I tell in my private consultations, which my clients' jaws are on the ground when I tell these stories, are also all in the book. And so it is, you know, people think, oh, medical books or health books are kind of boring to read. This is a page turner. This is a don't put it down page turner, calling up all my friends saying, oh my gosh, you got to get this book. Needs to be in
So,
every, yeah.
so give me one of those stories.
Um, okay, so we've got case studies in there. Let me think of which one I want to go into. I'll talk about my father. Okay.
Okay.
That's a close one to me. My father had kidney cancer on his right kidney.
Mm.
And I had a friend that was diagnosed within 30 days of my dad with a different kind of cancer. I did an analysis on both of them. I dropped everything in Florida and drove to Iowa where my dad lives. And uh, I left on a Friday. I found out on a Friday, and by Monday I was sitting in his doctor's office at the University of Iowa. He was a world-renowned laparoscopic surgeon, buff, good-looking guy. And I said to him, I said, "Hey, doctor, you look pretty good." He was like all built up, and I said, "What do you know about nutrition?" And I said, "It looks like you work out." And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Do you take anything?" And he said, "Well, occasionally I'll take an EFA." So I knew that doctors, they don't typically have a long lifespan in the medical field. And so I listened to everything. I saw the cancer on the screens. They had big, televised screens behind my dad on the wall. And I could see that 50 to 100% of his right kidney was pretty diseased. So as we walked out, I said, I was very kind in there and very respectful to the doctor because, he is really good at what he does. And I said to my dad, I said, "Dad, do you want to keep your kidney?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, then you need to listen to every single thing that I say." So he said, "Okay." I came prepared. My car was loaded with what my dad needed, and I brought some extras. And so my dad had this love for Metamucil, every day taking his Metamucil, which actually has the yellow dye in it, which is a known cancer causer. He could have been taking his own poison daily. And disclaimers, I'm going to put some disclaimers so you and I don't get into trouble here. Everything is that I say is my opinion and based on my experience. Nothing has been
Okay.
evaluated by the FDA. Okay, so I'll just say that so we're all protected.
Thank you.
But yeah, um, but everybody can, take from this information what they see as truth. So
Yeah.
this is my truth. So we took half of that, more than half of that, in the big canister. I think it was like this big. We dumped everything but about that. And then we replaced it with my program.
Okay.
And then my mom, she bought one of those Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday things, which I'm
Hmm.
for that because they don't have oxygen absorbers in there and air gets in there and you don't want air to get to your nutrients really, especially some of them, if they're in a real dark bottle, that is meant to stay dark, no light, no air. So we were spiking everything, every drink he had his nutrients that he had to take every day. And I went through the refrigerator and completely cleaned house and dumped everything that was wrong. And I
Mm.
gave my mother explicit instructions because I had to come back to Florida.
Yeah.
So I gave her explicit instructions. They followed that completely, perfectly. And at 30 days, nobody took another look. They just went straight into surgery. When the doctor came out, and I just feel like this was all God because
Hmm.
I got the bird's eye view that nobody else ever gets. And so the doctor comes out, gives us the update on my dad, and he says, he gives the update, then he turns to me and he says, "There was something different about your father's surgery." And I said, "Okay, what was it?" I knew there had to be because I know what I do. And so he said, "Well, normally when we take a diseased organ out, it's full of lesions, like it's exploded outward." And I could
Yeah.
show cancer client after cancer client after cancer client that comes to me with that, where it's literally broken out of the skin, like a breast is no longer a breast, it's exploded. Okay. And so he said, "Your father's was in perfect condition." He said there was one other thing. He said, you saw on the screen that we were going to take 50 to 100% of your father's right kidney. And I said, yes. And he said, we only needed 10%. So we took 12. So
Wow. To get the margins. Yeah.
yeah. And so that was gone then forever. And he still had his left kidney and he was able to save most of the right kidney.
Very
And
nice. Yeah.
yeah, that's just one example of the kinds of stories that are in the book. They're all based on truth. We change names, so that we're not exposing who people are or people being able to figure it out. But these are real people and real stories that I talk about.
That's
So
beautiful.
Yeah, and it is in my firm belief, based on my experience, that pretty much every single thing that people are suffering from is reversible. Now,
Mm,
if you had like a knee replacement, okay, they go in and they scrape everything out. Um, that is really, I mean, that is, they are literally completely disconnecting that. And then they put it back together with screws and pins, etc. Now, I can't make the cartilage regrow in that. The brain,
no. Yeah.
yeah, cannot make that cartilage regrow in there because they've scraped it, raw. And people will say, well, it was already raw. They just kind of cleaned it up. Yes, but in my experience, and we have uh, based this on people getting x-rays within 6 months of doing our programs, that their cartilage regrew. And their doctors are shocked. Like they literally respond with, wow, I can't
That's
believe it.
cool.
Yeah. And then the clients are like, what? Because they know what they were doing. And now it's verifiable. Same thing
So,
with veins that get all clogged up. The doctors think that can never be opened back up and cleaned up. That is not true either. So,
yeah.
yeah.
So when you say analysis, you're talking about the tongue and face and fingernail analysis,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the basis for that and what you're able to find when you look at those things.
It's interesting because I was sitting yesterday, I had a meeting yesterday because of some things that we're working on with a congressional award recipient. It was supposed to be an hour meeting. 4 hours later, I
Mhm.
left. And we had such a great conversation. Of course, in that conversation, she was like, well, can you look at me?
Yeah.
So, and that's how it always goes. So
hmm
I did, and I said, this, and this. I won't say what because we're going to be doing some things in the public later, so I don't want to expose her. But I pointed all this out, and she goes, "Yes, yes, yes." And it's because she was feeling this, but nobody else was getting it. And so, what I do specifically is I look at the faces, the fingernails, and the tongues, and any other marks of concern on the body. Trust me, the body throws all kinds of crazy signs. And when you see it on the outside, it's already happening on the inside times million.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And so, I pointed these things out to her and she's like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I was feeling this. I was feeling that. And nobody was getting it. And I don't need multi-million-dollar equipment. We were sitting at a coffee shop and I just put on my glasses and went up close and looked. So the body is already telling us. It's just people don't know how to decipher that. And that's what my book is going to be. All this.
Mm. I want to see that book when it comes. When is it supposed to come out?
Okay, so the process, which I'm new at this whole New York Times bestseller, and I'm not guaranteed it, but that's what I'm going for. I'm kind of a diehard. When I want to do something, I get it done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never ran a marathon, and like 3 months before the 2015 Miami Marathon, I was like, you know what? I think I want to run a marathon. So prior to that marathon, I had never run more than 16 miles. So I didn't know if I could run a marathon, but I went ahead and jumped in and did it. And I got to tell you, it was a super mental game at the halfway point
I'm
because
sure.
99% left. It's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
getting into. I've had no problem. I've never ran a marathon, and I am like going here with 5 more people. That's it. It was
Yeah.
so I cried the whole way home because I was in so much pain, but I did it. So that's how I feel about this New York Times bestseller. I'm putting it out there to your audience and to everybody else's audiences that this is what we're going to do. We're going to get this done. So it is off to some of the biggest publishers. And I'm expecting to hear from people, maybe all of them by next week. And you have to, I've never known this, but you have to sell upwards of about 18,000 books in 7 days.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it can't all be like go to Amazon and get it. It has to be Barnes and Noble, like indie books. There's another big one. It has to be at least four of the big ones, and then a whole bunch of small bookstores all over the country. So they track that apparently. And so it can't be Randi Shannon buys all her own books.
Yeah.
Right? But some have done that in the past, and that's how they became it. So that's why the rules have changed. So we pre-sell for 60 to 90 days ahead of time. And so hopefully I hear from them next week. Everybody loves it. Everybody fights for it. That's the plan. And
Yeah.
then, they're going to roll out their plan. And they are in business with people all across the country that make sure that all these small bookstores, the mom and pops, which those are my favorites,
Yeah.
that they get that in stock and we get that number. And then the cover of the book changes slightly and it'll say New York Times bestseller.
So,
So
so what's the name of the book going to be?
I'm not telling that part yet because
Okay.
that's one of the criteria. But let me tell you, I had an original title. And for anybody that's in your crowd that maybe wants, there's like 5 criteria for a New York Times bestseller. And one of them is if your title is already on, let's say Amazon, that's kind of the place to go look. If there's already a book there with that title, get rid of it. You
Yeah.
can't go with that title. It's like one word titles, the best. So if you get up around 4, you're getting too big. So
Yeah.
we played with some, and I'll say one of them that we threw out was it was just called Surface, which I didn't love. Okay, the one I have, I absolutely love, but the one that had popped up and was like a kind of, I thought, a safe way to go after I realized that my title, I couldn't use the one I had wanted. It turned out that there was a movie or a series with the same name, Surface. You can look it up. And that was a flop, apparently, and had tons of bad reviews. So it was like, okay, we can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
We scrapped that and went round and round. The title that I went with is so perfect. And that changes actually the title of my cookbook that goes along. It's changing everything. So
Okay.
another brand is being born, but I'm waiting for these publishers first. And I've also sent it off to the copyright. So just waiting for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once that's done, we will have it and it is going to be blockbuster. So I'm really excited.
Oh, that's great. Well, I'm wishing you the best of luck with that. So
Thank
how
you.
can people get a hold of you, Randy?
Yeah, if anybody wants an analysis, and we take on every kind, I'm hopeful for everything. So even when people come to me in, let's say, a stage 4 or stage 5 in certain things, I still have hope. Whereas if they're going to the doctor, it's always palliative care or, uh, well, meet with the oncologist one more time and get 15 more rounds of chemo. I give hope. Even if they're going through those programs, I still give hope. And so my program can go alongside that, or they can do it individually. So eight
Mhm.
four four 275 1056, 844-275-1056, or they can go fill out a consultation link on the website, thebodycan.com/, I think consult is the backslash on that. And
Okay.
tongue analysis and they don't have a cancer or something like really life or death, they could just go and sign up. And I can't say who, but I had a guy he was in Queensland last week, go sign up. I don't even know where he came from. However, it turned out he's this huge documentarist that is in the holistic world. I don't want to say the name of his documentary because I can say this and people can guess. Netflix was forced to take it down. It was so good.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Because there was a certain organization that pressured them for him to take it down. And he reached out to me for his health. So again, I can't really say, I can never say a name, but I have people that you would not believe, celebrities or politicians or, entrepreneurs, every walk of life that comes to me for consultations, tongue analysis, which is where I'm looking at just the top and the bottom of the tongue, or a full analysis where it's everything. Face,
Hmm.
fingernails, tongue, they fill out a 3-page report. So it's all very interesting. And they're multi-month programs, by the way. So
Okay.
when you get a tongue analysis, you're working with me for 3 or 4 months. When you're getting a full, or let's say a cancer package, you're working with me for 5, 6, or 12 months. So we have different plans for different people.
Well,
So
that's awesome. Thank you for letting us know how to get a hold of you. People,
yeah,
go back. I will put in the show notes the link to her website, and you can actually go out there and fill out an application fill out the form, get an analysis. You never
Abs-
know. You never know
ab-
what she can do to help you. Okay,
yeah.
so I have three questions that I ask of everyone at
Okay.
the end of every interview. So
Okay.
if you can close your eyes just for a moment and describe to me what you see in your mind's eye when I say wise woman.
Just those two words, wise woman.
Yep.
I picture wise women. I have maybe a different view than the world of a wise woman. Um, I see videos all the time where I feel like men and women just are not respecting each other. And I think a true wise woman is more going back. I grew up with Little House on the Prairie,
Yeah.
and so it's more family oriented, taking care of the meals instead of like going out and buying them all, and eating the processed foods, and actually like just looking inward, and whether it's if someone's single or if they have a family, just like solely focusing on that and like putting those blinders on to the rest of the world. And
Mm.
yeah, so it's more about turning inward. And that wise woman is also the richest woman.
Yeah.
She has her health, she has peace, maybe
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, you can open your eyes. I have
Okay.
two more questions.
Okay.
Where do you like to roam, Randy?
I'm a wilderness girl, Little House on the Prairie. One of the projects that we're working on that we talked about yesterday is a 501(c)(3) that I started that we're going to put satellites in all 50 states. And it's called the Melly Preserve. And the website should be up next week, or I think we're under 2 weeks for sure. I saw an email before I came live and it said your website is ready. So I'm not sure if it was that or not. But the Melly Preserve is where I see myself roaming. I am Laura Ingalls Wilder in my, I grew up with her, half pint, half pint. And, I love horses. I love growing my own food. I am gutted that the bees are dying. So this preserve,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
is about saving the bees, and nobody talks about this really, the dragonflies,
Oh, yes, yes.
the yellow jackets. We don't see any of these. They're gone. They're dead in Miami. There's nothing here.
Mm,
I barely see birds. And so the Melly Preserve is about having thousands of acres nationwide. And we're going to plant wildflowers everywhere and edible foods. And years ago, I did start a program called Food for Life Planning Foundation. And it's not a dead organization. We still have it. But the concept was uproot all of this pretty stuff and put in edible. Because you can go to other countries and walk down the street and be stuffed. Nobody,
mm.
nobody's starving in the streets. The animals and the birds all have food. So that's where I roam every
I
day.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I
And if
wish you
anybody
put,
wants a satellite, I mean, they got to reach out. The website, hopefully it's going to be the email is live. It's hello at Meli, MELI, preserve.com or
all
.org.
right.
Yeah. And Meli means honey in Greek.
All
I,
right.
yeah,
I'll make sure that that goes in the show notes as well. So if people
outstanding.
go take a look at that. Check it
Yeah.
out. All
Amazing.
right.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Okay. My final question is what makes you restless in a good way?
Well, I actually am going on like 4 hours of sleep because yesterday, the woman that I met with, this congressional uh, award recipient, was freaking out about my Melly Preserve. And she is going to Arizona, and she's like, can I have one of the satellites? And so that kind of stuff makes me restless because initially it was only going to be in Florida. And overnight that became, we're doing all 50 states. So that kind of stuff, yeah, when we're
Yeah.
when we're moving and shaking the world and we're literally leaving a legacy, we have to think like you and I, we can't leave this earth the way it is for our kids
No.
and kids. It's in bad shape and we have to do better for them. And so
Absolutely.
Melly Preserve is about that. That's one thing I can do. I can have a
Mhm.
hand, and I'm just asking God, lead this, slam
Yeah.
doors shut that I should not be walking through, and open wide the ones I should be. And I got 4 hours of sleep. I fell asleep on the couch, and I never do that, not with the TV on or anything, just working on my computer, and then woke up with, okay, it's all 50 states. We're going to do this. And this is how we do it. And this is how much we need. And there's a lot of very wealthy people in this country that can absolutely donate to that. They get to write it off in their taxes. And all 50 states, people can be doing something amazing.
Oh, it sounds wonderful.
Yeah,
Definitely. Everybody take a look at that.
it's going to be.
Well, Randy, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it and wish
I
you the
love it. Can't
best
believe
in
we're out of time.
everything. Yeah, I
So,
know. I know. We could talk forever. This sounds great.
absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'll make sure everything gets in the show notes and people can get a hold of you.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. And thank you to the audience who's listening or going to be listening to this. So, God bless you all, and God bless our country and your children and your grandchildren. And I pray protection over all of them.
Thank you very much.
Julie Noonan here. Thank you so much for listening to Roaming with Restless Women. If you're a successful senior woman leader who would like to be on this program, please visit podcast.intuitivewisdomcoach.com. If you enjoyed this interview, please share this episode on social media and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Your thumbs ups and reviews go a long way.